Sure about the time of death?
Yes, sir, we're sure.
He and the other boy had only been here for a couple hours.
Lips curled back, the grimace of death, ingestion of potassium cyanide stored in the fake molar.
According to the guard, they died within a minute or so of each other.
It's like they were on an internal clock.
They knew we'd be interviewing them today. Someone wanted to make sure that didn't happen.
He mentioned a man named Father. Someone who removed their identities and made them a part of a new family.
If he was the one who orchestrated their death, it means he anticipated their capture.
Maybe he planned it. To take our attention away from the real target, Bryce Banks.
Kid they kidnapped.
He's back with his parents now, isn't he?
But they held him for 3 days, long enough for Father to have reached out to him as well.
Bryce Banks operates at a PhD level in computer sciences, game theory, and physics. And this boy was intellectually gifted and emotionally starved. Made him a perfect candidate for Father's intervention. I think that we're dealing with the same scenario in Bryce Banks.
He was a simple Philidor legacy.
Yeah, but with the queen d5, I could check.
Don't argue with me, Bryce. The Philidor's there for the taking. Look, I know you've been through an ordeal. But that's why this tournament on Saturday's so important. We've got to start focusing on the future now.
Can't I just, like, play for a while?
Sure. If you want to lose the tournament on Saturday, that's up to you.
This is Jarod Doyle. Please leave a message at the beep.
Hi, it's Samantha Waters. Listen, I need to talk to you about Bryce Banks, so if you could call me as soon as you can, I'd appreciate it. Thanks. Bye.
Those men poisoned themselves in prison?
Yeah, well, we think that somebody else may have orchestrated it, and that person may still be interested in Bryce.
Oh, my God.
I think that he may have been subjected to some type of hypnosis or behavior modification.
He seems fine. Besides, a boy with his intellectual power would be able to resist that kind of mental manipulation.
Sometimes the most intelligent people are the most susceptible, Mr. Banks.
Oh. Well, I think he needs to get back to his normal routine as quickly as possible. He's got a tournament on Saturday.
You're not going to make him play.
I'm not going to make him do anything. He wants to do it.
Well, I think if Dr. Waters feels that she needs to talk to Bryce...
Let her talk to him. I've got work to do.
Bryce? Agent Waters. Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. You come here to debrief me?
Wow, I see that you are a Hawks fan, huh?
Totally. Mookie Blaylock's the bomb.
Oh. You mind if I...
No.
So, do you and your dad go to a lot of the games?
No, I've never been.
Listen, Bryce, I need to ask you some questions about what happened to you last week. Now, if at any time you feel anxious or you feel uncomfortable...
I'm sure that won't happen.
Okay.
I remember that guy Joshua dragging me into the house. He put something over my head so that I couldn't see where we were.
Do you remember anybody else being in the house, or did Joshua ever mention a man that he called Father?
No, except for meals. You know, I hardly even saw Joshua. After a little while, I kind of lost track of time.
Bryce, did they have you take any kind of a test or play any games, anything weird like that?
I do remember some bright lights, along with some, like, very loud music. Kind of like going to a rock concert underwater. It's all very blurry to me. I'm just glad that it's over.
Yeah. Nothing else.
Sorry. You know, I have this tournament on Saturday. I have to practice for it.
Oh, okay, well, listen, if you do remember something...
Yeah, I won't hesitate to call.
Okay. Thanks, Bryce.
Agent Waters,
Detective Doyle.
you're a very difficult person to get in touch with.
Well, you're not so easy yourself.
I got your message. How's Bryce Banks?
Well, he's back to his routine.
That's only half of an answer.
I'm not sure.
If his father was going to get in touch with him, he'd probably do it via the internet.
Or they took away his modem.
That may not be enough.
You know, I tried to reach you at Atlanta PD. You don't have a direct line?
They give me a pretty long leash.
Well, even detectives have desks.
I do my best work in the field.
I see.
The two men who killed themselves, their bodies have disappeared from the morgue.
How's that possible?
I don't know. Yet.
I wish you would tell me why this case is so important to you.
Bryce's life could be in danger.
That's only half an answer.
Haven't you ever had a case that you couldn't let go of? That wouldn't let go of you? That's why I'm here. To help. I'll be in touch. Agent.
Detective.
Rayleigh.
Hey, George. Yeah, it's Sam. Listen, do me a favor, all right?
Sure.
Find out whatever you can about a Detective Jarod Doyle at the Atlanta PD.
Doyle, Atlanta PD.
Yeah.
You got it.
Thanks, George.
No, I think it's great. Yeah, let me get back to you tomorrow, all right? All right.
Was that Reynolds?
Yeah. He said the research looks good. He wants to move on it immediately.
But
Nora, you know what we're up against. Come on, this is a hell of an opportunity. We can live in Geneva for a few years.
another move.
It's important to this family.
We can't keep up brooding Bryce like this.
Be fine. The boy can see how other people live. It'll broaden his horizons.
What he needs is stability, Philip, especially now. What he needs is a father who's available.
Nora.
I know how demanding your job is. I just worry it's costing us our son. Go outside, get some fresh air, play basketball with him.
I hate the game.
He loves it.
All right, Bryce, come on. If you want to make some baskets, let's go. Come on, Bryce. Bryce! Bryce! Bryce!
Radio blast pattern, incendiary content, probably some kind of plastic explosive.
What do you got, Chris?
If he was close to the bomb, his remains will be microscopic.
If Bryce was the focal point of the whole case, why go through the kidnapping and brainwashing just to kill him?
Once Bryce was out of Father's control, he went from a potential asset to a security risk.
You're assuming that he was out of Father's control. Bryce's reactions were too perfect to me. He had no trouble readjusting, no nightmares, no flashbacks, nothing. You don't recover from psychological trauma that quickly.
Whatever Father was trying to accomplish with the boy or do to him, it's over now.
I don't think so, Bailey. I think it's just starting.
The explosion claimed the life of 13-year-old Bryce Banks, the youngest chess grandmaster in the country. Authorities have found no motive for the blast and so far have no leads as to a possible suspect.
Hello, son. Come on in. So how was the trip? Huh? Any problems? Oh, good job. Good job, Joshua. And welcome home.
Please.
We've combed every inch of your son's bedroom. There's no sign of human remains. What I'm saying is we don't believe Bryce was in the room.
He's alive.
I can't go through this again.
We're going to establish a 24-hour presence around the house. We'll be putting wiretaps on the phones. If he was kidnapped...
If he was kidnapped, you know damn well he was. Look, I'm no saint. I've made a lot of mistakes with my son, and it took an explosion for me to realize that. But if I get a second chance with him...
We'll do whatever we can.
And what do we do? Just wait?
I know it's difficult, but...
Philip!
Nora, these people know what they're doing. We don't. Isn't it more important for us to be here if he does try to make contact?
Infinitely.
I don't understand. Who set the bomb, Philip?
It was probably Bryce himself, based on some signal given by the father who is still controlling him.
And then what, were he kidnapped, Bryce?
Yeah, well, I would imagine he would want him back in his sphere of influence as soon as possible.
All right. Looks like there was a cash withdrawal from one of the bank's family accounts from an ATM in Raleigh, North Carolina. $60, $3:45 this morning.
Let's put out a bulletin. 3-state radius north and west of Raleigh. I'll tell Atlanta PD we've got a kidnapping across state lines. It's our case now.
Father. Didn't David Koresh call himself father?
And Jim Jones and Sung Young Moon. Couching dominance in the language of family. It's a common cult technique.
But I don't think that we're dealing with a cult leader. I mean, look at the way he discarded Reed and Taylor. I don't think that he's interested in building a following. I think he's interested in Bryce.
All right, last one.
You're gonna get it this
You
time.
win. Come on. Can you do it? Can you get it? Defense, defense. Straight down the middle. All right. Fake me out with it.
21, I win.
I should never have spotted you those 5 points. You're a hustler. So, what do you want to do now?
You mean I can do anything I want?
Sure.
Don't we have work to do, though?
No, let's worry about that later. Okay, how about another game of one-on-one? I'll spot you 5. You get the ball first.
I think we should get our work done first.
All right. If that's what you want to do, Joshua.
The day before the explosion, Bryce somehow managed to tap into the CIA database. NSA, CID. This kid is exceptional. And whatever data he took would be extremely valuable to the right bidder.
Well, unfortunately, I don't think this is about money.
And even though I've got the passcode, this is the definition of a brick wall. Fortunately, the Atlanta PT is not such a tough nut. I did that sweep you asked for on your friend Doyle. He checks out.
No gaps, no inconsistencies?
If anything, he's a little too consistent. Take a look.
Graduated from the academy in '87. Promotions every couple of years, merit citations. Pretty impressive arrest, right?
Yeah, but get this. No overtime. I mean, come on. Any cop that works a beat for 12 years and doesn't put in for a dime of OT, come on. It's not American.
Sam, come in. Actually, I'm glad you're here. I found some interesting information about those prison suicides.
You've been working overtime. It's not really your style, is it?
I see you read my file.
Well, you knew that I would.
You can't take anything at face value, can you?
Depends on the face. Jarod, I know that you're not a cop.
Look, we both want the same thing. If I bend the rules a little bit, what difference does it make? I'm here to help. And I have some information that might do that if you would trust me. Either way, would you just hear me out?
All right. What do you got?
Cyanide pills. They were a staple of the Cold War. It wasn't until the 70s that they made them small enough to fit inside the human tooth. They being the CIA.
Bryce Banks has hacked his way into the CIA database. We think that he has stolen information.
Father must have some kind of background in intelligence. What does he need with Bryce?
Well, Bryce is brilliant, isn't he? Father needs a problem solver. Someone who can see the situation analytically. And I'm beginning to think that they're more alike than we know, that they are both emotionally starved.
I need to break into the database that Bryce broke into.
Oh, we tried. We hit some walls.
I'm good with walls. I just need a passcode.
What happened to Bryce? That happened to you too, didn't it? You were kidnapped.
I was taken from my parents when I was very young. I still remember the pain and the feeling of aloneness. So whenever I come across anybody who is trapped in any way, I do whatever it takes to get them out. Whatever it takes.
Your passcode.
How are you doing, Joshua? You must be getting tired. Listen, why don't I just call and order that pizza now?
I think I should keep going. I'm so close. And you've waited for so long. What'll happen to them?
To whom?
My brothers. When will they get out of jail?
That's all being taken care of. That was just a big misunderstanding.
So, I'll see them again.
Oh, yeah, sure. And it won't be long at all. What is it? What did you find?
I've got DMV matches from the CIA surveillance photo.
Can you isolate the guy on the right?
Is that him, Father? Is that your friend?
What does he look like today? Hummingbird.
Hey, Jack, how you doing? Okay. Don't feel out the trip, yeah, let me your car skip to where? Where are you?
Well, I don't want to wait that long. Just get me that analysis. We queued up? Okay, get back to me. Thanks.
We rolled the tape back to just before the explosion. That's the last person who got off the elevator. And we checked back on his point of entry. When he came in, He was carrying a shopping bag. Here's a better angle.
Look at his face. He's as surprised as everyone else.
He delivered the bomb, Sam.
Yeah, but I don't think he knew what he was doing or what the consequences would be. Father told him to do it.
Well, he knows now.
I wouldn't be too sure of that.
Confirmation of a wire housing type detonator originating from inside the elevator. It blew the roof, severed the cable. Anyone who wasn't killed by the blast died on impact.
Same type explosive as the Banks house?
Bomb squad's best guess was that it was set to go off on the 4th floor.
8 victims. Their only mistake was getting to work a half hour early.
Public place, lots of witnesses. Doesn't want to get caught, but he certainly doesn't want to be ignored, does he?
Your classic random act of terror.
No. Somebody on that elevator was his target. Bryce waited 20 minutes before he got on with the bomb, so Father told him who to go after and when he'd be there. It was a planned act of hatred and revenge.
John, sort out the victims' bodies. I want IDs and biographical info ASAP. We need to find out who the target was and why.
Put it in again. Put it in again. Put it in again. That was too soon. Now we. In the goal. Okay, we'll go again. What's the matter? Joshua. I know you're upset because I didn't tell you what was in the bag. I didn't want you to be afraid.
You said he was your friend.
A friend who betrayed us. Now, come here, come here. I want you to see this. This just came today. I think you're going to love this. See? Ready? Ta-ta! Basketball. Basketball. That was my son.
What happened to him?
I made a mistake. I lost him to my work. But I've learned my lesson now, and I will never allow myself to lose you. Okay?
And that's everyone. 3 secretaries, a consultant, a janitor, 2 lobbyists, and a lawyer. All told, they worked for 6 different companies.
Could have been worse. Could have been no lawyers.
Sorry. Backgrounds, commonality.
I'm still working on it, but so far no connection to the Banks family or to Reed and Taylor.
And there's no way of knowing their connection to the father.
What about the victims' companies? Were any of them involved in controversial cases or business deals?
Well, you know, what with the consultant and the lobbyists and the lawyer, we're talking about hundreds of clients. In D.C., if you're not making enemies, you're not working.
They compared explosive samples with the Banks side. It's a derivative of RDX, high-level military munition.
Any of the victims ex-military?
Sorry, not even a Boy Scout.
Why would he risk Bryce's life? He spent all those years trying to get him.
So, which of these guys is Samson Dalloway?
This one.
Well, can you scan this in for me, Don?
Oh, sure.
Thanks. According to his records, Mr. Dalloway had a near-perfect set of chops. The X-ray on the left is the one we had on file, and the one on the right is the one we took at the autopsy. 7 fillings and a severe overbite.
They don't match.
Very good. So either Mr. Dalloway broke his jaw and went through about 10 pounds of juju fruits every day.
Or Samson Dalloway is a fictitious identity. That's why Father needs Bryce. To help him track down people who have somehow erased their past.
Sam, excuse us.
What's this all about, Bailey?
I'm turning this case over to counterintelligence. Poison pills, high-end explosives, assumed identities. I was in Black Ops. I know a spook operation when I smell one.
So we're just gonna hand Bryce over to the spooks?
We don't know what we're dealing with here, Sam. How deep this goes. Who is Jarod Doyle?
He's a detective. He's provided valuable information.
From where?
I'm not sure. I guess he has his sources.
Sounds a lot like Samson Dalloway. This is not what we do, Sam. Father has a connection to the agency, and Jarod has a connection to him.
I think that Jarod is trying to help me.
Maybe he's not. I'm sorry, Sam. I won't let you go down in something like this. It's too risky.
Look, by the time we bring another team up to speed, Father could be gone, and he'll have taken Bryce with him. You're just gonna have to trust me on this one.
I just received an anonymous email. I downloaded it 5 minutes ago. It's a classified CIA file. I mean, I don't know who sent this, but...
I think we can guess.
He's Samson Dalloway. Middle name is Stephen Osgood. He's a research scientist, degrees in psychology, biochemistry. Project Hummingbird.
Blacked out operation in the late 70s. Rumor was they were into brainwashed psych warfare.
Controlling adrenaline, modifying fight-or-flight response. They were trying to build a better soldier.
Imagine the payoff. Armies without guilt, agents without conscience.
Okay, here's the original team. Project head was Maxwell Creighton. Emery Sachs and Lewis Holbrook were senior researchers, and under them, Osgood and Ronald Dane. Now, Osgood died in the elevator.
Dane died 10 years ago, cancer.
That leaves Sachs, Holbrook, and Creighton, the top three.
All with new identities, all nearly impossible to find.
Can we age their faces, get composites of what they might look like today?
Doubtful. I mean, the original is kind of old and blurry. I'll do it. You know, I'll try and repixelate, but I'll just be guessing. I'll do a wide sweep search, NCIC, periodicals. One of them must have popped his head into the public eye sometime.
Either that or wait for the next corpse.
One of them isn't gonna die. One of them is the killer.
Lewis?
Emery, you weren't followed, were you?
I don't think so. When was the last time I saw him?
20 years ago, same as you.
Osgood's brains splattered all over the elevator wall. He said he was going to make us pay for what we did, and he's making good on that threat. How's it possible?
With what we know, anything's possible.
Yes, but after all these years...
Who else could it be?
What can we do?
Nothing. I'm 62 years old. Where am I gonna run?
I wake up every day and I think maybe it's gonna be my turn. I don't know, all I know is we should never be seen together.
Same incendiary device as the previous two explosions.
Saxon, Holbrook, both members of Project Hummingbird.
Maxwell Creighton's the only one left.
When a team gets erased, it's usually because someone developed a conscience. If one person's ready to talk, they all might. That must have been what Creighton was afraid of. Whatever his motives, his mission's over. He'll probably move, try to fade into a new background.
If he's really finished.
There's no one left, you said it yourself. Bryce didn't do it.
No, he didn't. There's an all-night convenience store down the road. The girl behind the counter said she saw a car driving past less than a minute after the explosion.
She didn't happen to get a plate.
She was deep into her six-pack. We're lucky she saw the car.
So Creighton delivered this one himself. Well, Sachs and Holbrook were his deputies, the closest ones to him. Maybe he needed to see them in person to make sure.
Coordinate with state police. Anyone matching Bryce or Creighton's description to be stopped on sight. Toll booths, bus terminals, shut down Dulles if you have to.
Yeah, you bet.
I'm gonna update my profile on Creighton. Osgood, Sachs, and Holbrook. All the bombing, the kidnapping, and the brainwashing, all to kill these three men. But why does he use a 13-year-old as his accomplice?
Allow me to introduce you to someone who can shed some light on this case. These x-rays were taken at Ronald Dane's grave site.
You exhumed the body?
Let's just say I did a little digging. This person didn't die of cancer. Notice the bone separations. It was exposed to an outward violent force, most likely an explosion. But here's the interesting part. There was no calcification, no wear and tear on the pelvic joint. And the body was only 63 inches tall.
It's a child. Ronald Dane had a son. A boy named Joshua.
And Joshua is what Reed and Taylor called themselves.
That's why Dane kidnapped Bryce to replace his lost son.
Someone at the agency must have thought that Ronald Dane was going to talk about Project Hummingbird, so they sent him a letter bomb. Unfortunately, his son Joshua got the mail. Ronald Dane isn't buried in this grave. His son is.
And that's why Dane wanted everyone to think that he was dead. So he could plot his revenge against the rest of the members of the team. People he thought were responsible for killing his son. Ronald Dane's a killer.
His file says he died of cancer.
Well, Dane had to fake his death. It was the only way he could stay alive.
What do we got, Georgie?
An arrest report, July 1989, drunk driving, defendant Ronald Dane. Subject asserts population of U.S. at risk from mind control. Subject repeatedly shouts the word hummingbird, claims no one can stop him from telling the truth.
2 weeks later, a bomb exploded in his house.
So Dane spent 10 years in hiding, refining his techniques, and using Taylor and Reed as his guinea pigs?
Yes, until Bryce came of age. Then he used them to kidnap Bryce. And then he killed them to cover his tracks.
What do we have on Dane?
Zip. His file ends at his death, and there's no way to know who he became next.
And then we need to find Creighton before he does.
I was able to dig out an old DMV photo, and I can age it. Got to love the 70s.
First thing I would do is lose the beard. And the sideburns. And
shorten the hair, add more gray.
Mustache. Now give me a DMV wipe with Philip Banks.
Familiar?
Philip Banks.
AKA Maxwell Creighton, leader of the Project Hummingbird. And the man Ronald Dane thinks is responsible for his son's death.
I thought you lost your son to your work.
I did. But it wasn't at my hand. He was taken from me. They took away my son's life. But now you can become my son, Joshua, once and for all.
What do I do?
Phone home.
Don't close them all the way. I want them to be able to keep you in sight.
Haven't enough people been hurt?
You think I like this?
Philip!
I already made the call.
Go on, push it. It's just you and me together. No more attachments to the past. This is where our family begins. Press number 1.
Put your hands up, Dane.
No, it's too late now. Stand back.
Push the button, Joshua.
Don't listen to him, Bryce. He's not your father.
I'm more of a father than you've ever known.
Think about what he's asking you to do, Bryce.
Just don't pay any attention to her.
Bryce, what happened to the other Joshuas? Did he ever tell you what happened to them?
They're waiting for us.
No, they're dead. They're all dead, Bryce.
And they served their purpose. What matters now is you and me.
He's lied to you, Bryce. From the very beginning, it's all been a lie.
Your name is not Bryce, it's Joshua.
Leave one of them. You know how it works? Did you pack Bryce's things?
They're in there.
Now, Joshua.
Think about your parents. Think about the people who love you.
They mean nothing.
They want your family to be together again.
No one could ever love you as much as I do.
Look at what he's doing to you. He's putting you in front of him to protect himself.
Forget about her. Forget about
No
them.
father who loved his son would ever do that.
Focus now. Focus. Bryce. Hummingbird. Finish the mission now.
He called me Bryce.
Press the button.
Drop it. I don't know what's going on here, but there's a bomb in your house and you're under arrest.
Right here. My wife is in there.
You got him?
Yep. Come on.
Get out of the house now.
Would you come with me, ma'am? You down here? Just down here. Between this room. Right there. Anything? All clear. Nothing here. Bomb disarmed. No, we're clear.
If your son wasn't in the car, you've got a lot of explaining to do.
Maybe not.
Let him go, John.
Bryce.
Banks with the agency?
You don't want to know.
Hey.
Late. Go home.
Oh, I'm just finishing up.
How did you know Dane would be at the cemetery?